Hello, so as you might know, we have a new game on Kickstarter called Abide, and it's a first-person horror game, and we have a cool trailer. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes and like try to give some context to the scenes that you see in the trailer. Now, this is quite a necessary content warning. This is a horror game, right? So if you have any worries or problems with that, you should take care. So what you'll see is essentially some prosthetic effects, some chasing scenes, a little bit of nudity, depictions of self-harm, all the classics, all the good stuff, all the horror tropes, you know? This is really a horror game. So our game is taking place in a rehabilitation center, which is not a very normal rehabilitation center. We have a variety of characters here. You'll hopefully get to meet all of them during this trailer and even more in the actual video game.
While we're here, we must talk. We must listen.
So there's a bunch of things you do in the game. One of them is therapy, like join group therapies, and
there's this thing I do.
you actually get to pick the characters that you talk with, which is fun. So you'll kind of, if you're curious about a character, you will get to pick them in group therapy and yeah, listen to their story.
We must work.
Also during the day, you have some chores to complete. Like, as you can see, Johnny is doing some laundry here. I worked hard on that laundry bit. And Mitch and Dennis, you just saw, were taking care of some plants, essentially. Edit here might be cooking, and we have to look out for each other. So as you can see, Jackie here is looking a bit depressed or something, and there's also old people in the house, so we do have to look out for each other in this video game.
We ought to feel free to express ourselves.
So all the models in the game are handmade. It's all made by Jack. And to be honest with you, I don't really know what exactly goes into these models. Like, my part of the project is like Jack will come into a meeting and he'll say, "Oh, I made a new body today." I'm like, "Oh, cool." So it's kind of magic for me. I don't really know much about modeling or anything, but after the models are made, we 3D scan them with a program called Reality Scan. And then, now this is a cool effect that you'll see. Like, this is a stop motion video. Our game is blending traditional stop motion techniques with 3D scans and in-game animations and everything being 3D. So this is a real video, right? And you can see the moment that it becomes an in-game character. So hopefully we'll keep working on this kind of uncanniness of something being stop motion versus something being 3D scanned, and all of those transitions. That is something that we feel quite excited about when it comes to this project. And yeah, after all the chores and tasks and therapy that you do during the day, at night, you're supposed to be a good patient and just not leave your room, but you still can. Our player character, Bobby, really wants to leave the room.
Because of who we are,
That's Edith,
what we might do.
Susan, Jackie, Dennis, Johnny.
What kind of mother thinks like this?
Man, I don't know. So this is really messed up, right? How do you make a behind the scenes of this type of thing? So I'll tell you one thing is that the other day Jack came into the meeting and I was like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? What have you been up to?" And he just said, "I've been fingering a lemon." And yeah, he said, "I've been trying to record the sound of a lemon getting fingered in the most satisfying way so that I can use those sounds in the trailer." So the horrible mutilation cutscene that you've just seen, if you actually listen to that a bit more closely, you can hear some lemons getting squished. Reminds me of the time I punched the lettuce. Moving on. So, right, that was horrible, right? That scene of like the finger getting stabbed is crazy because it looks so fake, but it's still so incredibly effective, I find. At least like when I watched it, I was like, oh, you know. So that is something that is really interesting to me about, let's say, 90s movies and stuff where, you know, there's a lot of prosthetic effects, even more in 80s and 70s, to be honest. Back then, when horror films used to have a lot of prosthetic effects and you had to just like make something that kind of doesn't really look real, but it's that kind of uncanniness that you really enjoy when you see it. One of my favorite movies is The Thing, which if you have seen it, kind of it's kind of a peak point for that prosthetic horror type of thing. I like a lot of Cronenberg as well from the 70s. And Cronenberg doesn't miss really. Everything he makes is good. But yeah, his horror ones in the 70s are kind of amazing. If you find that kind of aesthetic interesting, I think there's a lot of stuff you can find in this game that you might dig. And also, there's a lot of chasing scenes and sneaking about and stealth sections in this game as well. So we do really care about gameplay in our games. There's a lot of narrative, a lot of story, but there's also a lot of, you know, more traditional horror game mechanics going on, jump scares and everything. We're trying not to overdo it with jump scares, but there's definitely some jump scares in this game that I don't know. It's just a horror trope, and the way we think about this game is we really want to try to deliver a horror experience, and that means relying on a lot of tropes, but then still putting a lot of us in the game, a lot of our taste and our personality, so that it's going to be a mix of, okay, yeah, that's a horror game, and oh yeah, that's something else. If that makes sense. It's our take on the horror genre. That's a good way to put it, I think. So let's keep going.
When we are alive, we benefit.
So this is Mitch. And Mitch is a really interesting character because he is just another resident in this rehabilitation center. When you see him giving talks like this or acting as a leader in the group, this is kind of just something that he has decided to do. You know, like you know how some people are a bit more submissive, how some people are a bit more of a natural leader. You can really see a lot of that in this game's characters, where you know some of them are quite, they don't want to talk, some of them want to talk all day long, some of them want to tell people what to do, and some of them want to mind their own business. You get to experience all sorts of different personalities in this kind of setting, which I'm really excited about. So yeah.
We get better.
And that's the tagline. When we abide, we get better, right? That's a really funny jump scare. Um, I don't know. I like it. Hopefully you like the trailer. We worked really hard on it, and everything about the game is just an absolute passion project, and we are loving it. We are loving working on it. Hopefully, if this Kickstarter is successful, we will get to work on this for a bit more and finish it. So that'll be awesome. So feel free to support our Kickstarter. You don't have to, if you don't have money, as a lot of people don't, right? The economy is in shambles and everything. So no pressure. But if you want to support us, you can back the campaign, or you can share the links, comment on our videos, etc. We're all over on social media. We're trying to really push this out to as many people as possible. There's a lot of people who don't know us, who don't know what we do. We already have 2 games out, so we're really working hard on trying to bring very unique, interesting experiences for everyone. So hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. And thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. And I will see you next time.